What's good? What's good? I am back. Yours truly, the one and only Paul Pickett. And this is Promo Palace LLC Vlog 49. I'm going to title this one, The Main Reasons Most Musicians Won't or Don't Make It. The main reasons most musicians don't or won't make it. Now, I got about 6 or 7 reasons jotted down here. And some of these kind of correspond with the others. Um, but I'm gonna get into the number one reason why most musicians don't or won't make it, and that's a budget. Contrary to what musicians think, um, music business is not a talent search. You know, I know you think you should never have to spend money on your craft, that people should just open up the floodgates and put all the labels should just sign you, put $1 million behind you and push you just cause, but that's not how it works. The number one reason is a budget. Most artists, they don't have their own budget. There's a lot that think they shouldn't have to put up a budget, which is going to get into my sixth reason. So remember that. Remember the people that don't think they should have to put up any kind of budget, any kind of money, because YouTube's not advertising for free. Facebook's not advertising for free. Twitter's not let you advertise for free. TikTok's not let you advertise for free. I know, for example, like technically art, like playlisters are not supposed to charge for placements on their playlist, but that's not the reality. If you email any big playlister, they're not adding you for free. Most of the top blogs aren't adding you for free. I could tell you somebody that would never add you for free unless you're a mainstream artist, and that's influencers. Ain't no Instagram influencer, TikTok influencer, unless they're your best friend. They ain't doing nothing for free. None of these influencers that got millions of followers, they're not doing nothing for free just because you think you got a hot song. You know? Let's see. A lot of artists think they shouldn't have to get paid. They shouldn't have to pay to open up for major artists or other artists. Well, guess what? If that was the case or wasn't the case, then you'd be getting paid shows already. This idea that an artist is supposed to get paid shows just because they make music is bogus. If you cannot bring a specific amount of people through the door, then you should not get paid for a show. I'll repeat again, this idea that talent or just because you make music is supposed to mean that you're supposed to get paid to perform a show is BS. It's bogus. If you don't have fan base, you have no real fan base that's spending any money on your music, then you don't get paid to perform shows. You might want to go rent out the club yourself and see how many people you can get through the door. And that technically that's what artists are supposed to be doing when you don't got a big enough fan base to get paid to do a show. Is you book the venue, you rent out the venue, and you get paid at the door if anybody comes through the door. So budget is the number one. And if you as an artist don't have a budget, you know, most artists, their only option is to try to get signed to a major label, or they think that's their only option. That's not the proper process to go. The proper process to go before you get signed to a major label is find a short-term small investor or a long-term big investor like Tech9 did, and like a lot of other unsigned and up-and-coming artists did when they became major artists. Like, find an investor that will invest into your music. Because I could tell you right now, you ain't going to the bank and get no loan. Ain't no rapper, no singer, no band going to get no loan so they can put out an album. They're not. That's the thing. Banks aren't. It's already a risk for a major label to invest into an artist that hasn't made a single dollar off his money, and then you want a bank to do it. And that's another thing. That's why labels aren't signing artists based off talent. They're signing them based off, do you have a hit record or do you have an already established fan base? And to already have that established fan base takes a budget. So you got to be spending money on something, and you can't just be spending money on the content alone. You have to be spending money on promoting content as well. Number two, what's the number two reason I would say? I would say a team. I would say most artists don't have a team. And the ones that do, they don't have the right team. They don't have a team that has any experience or any understanding of breaking music. Their team only knows how to say, oh yeah, the song is hot, it's a hit, and that's it. If you don't got a PR person on your team, a marketing person on your team, like a manager with connects, you don't got somebody on your team that's getting your artist like crazy interviews, radio interviews, blog interviews, magazine interviews, because that's real press. Most of these online so-called press companies aren't press companies. They're not PR companies. That's why I don't call myself a PR company, because I'm not like the guy that gets you the magazine interviews and a lot of blog interviews and a lot of radio interviews. I'm the guy that gets you your music on playlist. You got a budget, I got big TikTok influencers, Instagram influencers. I do SEO. I can help you run your ads, because yeah, anybody can set up their own ad. But if you're just a regular Joe Schmo, you don't know jack shit about advertising. You don't know the proper way to set up an ad, the proper targets for your ad. You don't know. You just don't know. And that's why you can't just have a team of people around you, yes men, a team of yes men around you all the time. And that's what most people have. They just got a team of yes men. They homeboys that just, yeah, it's a hit, it's a hit. You got to have a real team, and everybody's got to have a real role and know their role and do their role exceptionally well. So number one is budget. Number two is team. Number three, work ethic. A lot of y'all cats ain't working hard enough. And I'm going to tell you why. I'm going to tell you exactly why. We have a saying and a motto within my team called "Don't watch us work." Don't watch us work. Now, what does "don't watch us work" mean? Well, "don't watch us work" means, like, say, for example, you pay me to work your song on FM radio. And say you stay in North Carolina like me. And you stay in Fayetteville like me. And I'm working your record on FM radio. As soon as I get your song picked up on any city outside of Fayetteville, North Carolina, that's close by, you should be driving to that city. And you should be promoting yourself in that city. And you should be going to the radio program director like yourself and be like, look, we're getting, a lot of radio play on your station. We're in the city. What's good? Can we get an interview? That's part of "don't watch us work." Because if I'm getting you pickups on FM radio and you're not in these cities promoting while you're on the radio, then you're just watching us work. If I'm advertising your video on YouTube and people are starting to comment on your video, as each comment comes in, it's not my responsibility to respond to these comments. It's your responsibility. And if you're not responding to these comments, then you're just watching us work. If I get you picked up by playlist and you're not taking these playlist links and promoting it to your social media saying, hey, we got picked up on this playlist, go check it out, then you're just watching us work. So work ethic. Like, that's another thing of why talent doesn't dictate this industry, because the hardest working artists are the ones that are making it. The Baby is definitely not the most talented rapper in the game, but he is one of the hardest working rappers. And I did promotion for his 21 record. I got his last bit of budget. The guy was in there like swimwear because of the hard work. NBA Youngboy, as much as I don't like his music, he drops a music video like every single week, working harder than everybody else. Work ethic. So right now we're at budget, team, and work ethic. Number 4, no understanding of the game. If one thing I notice about most musicians, they have this idea of how they think the music business should be or how it ought to be. It's not a talent search. The 90s is over. The 90s is over. Labels don't care about signing the most talented artist or the most original artist. They care about signing an artist that has a hit record and has fan base. The artist that's going to make them the most money. And in the 90s, all due respect, the 90s might have been, quote unquote, the golden era of the quality of music. But a lot of those artists weren't successful either. A lot of those artists didn't make it past 1 or 2 albums. And this idea that if you're not reaching gold standards, you're not even going gold, after 2 albums, and the label is supposed to keep just throwing money behind you, is bogus. Because they can only put so much money behind you before they don't make a profit. So if you're going less than gold, you can't expect them to put the same amount of money into you as an artist going gold or platinum or diamond. It's kind of like when, for example, TDE, you had, what's my man's name? Ab-Soul sitting there complaining because he's not getting the same money put behind him as Kendrick Lamar and Schoolboy Q. Well, there's levels to this shit, Ab-Soul. And you're not on their level. You're not making music that crosses over as mainstream hits. That's the thing. As hip-hop is Schoolboy Q and Kendrick are, they've made records that are hit records. Schoolboy Q is the best of both worlds. He can make mainstream dope hip-hop records and underground sounding hip-hop records. Ab-Soul is just an underground hip-hop artist. This idea that an underground hip-hop artist that's not making any kind of mainstream sounding music should have the same budget behind him is bogus. It's bogus because you're not even willing to make mainstream music. So there's no understanding of the game because there's 2 parts of the game, making music and breaking music. And I can tell you 9 out of every 10 rappers and singers know nothing about breaking music. They think they know, but they know nothing about breaking music. Like they're all trying to pay to get on the big blogs. Well, if you was working hard, if you was doing number 3, working hard enough, and you had a team that understood the game and they was working as hard as you, and y'all had a budget, then you wouldn't have to pay all these top blogs. They be coming to you because top blogs you should let come to you. FM radio you should let come to you. Now influencers, there's no way around not paying influencers. You got to pay the influencers, and influencers dictate online marketing promotions. Influencers got more. One influencer has more influence than any one blog. Any one big influencer has more influence than any one blog. Joe Rogan tells, go sign up to get her, and they get 1 million signups like that. Now imagine if 5 or 6 Joe Rogans are saying that. And trust me, if you got Joe Rogan, Ben Shapiro, and Candace Owens, and whoever else, Michael Knowles, and they all say go to get her all at once. I mean, it's just going to fluctuate. The more influencers you got, promoting your brand or your product, the more influence it has, So influencers definitely dictate the internet. And there's no way getting around not paying them, And playlist pitching, y'all don't have no understanding of how that works. Because when you drop a song, first you got to pre-release it. You got to pre-release it like, you want to pre-release it 5 or 6 weeks ahead of time, which gives it a time for you to submit it to Spotify and Apple and Amazon's editorials. Because this is the thing. If you think you're going to submit it a week before it releases and it's going to get picked up, not likely. Because first of all, by the time they get to it to listen to it, it's been out for 4 weeks. 60,000 songs per day are being distributed to Spotify. There's no way they're listening to 60,000 songs per day. By the time they get to your song, it's going to take weeks. It's so oversaturated. And if they don't pick your song up on Spotify's big playlist, then guess what? You got no choice but to play for playlist pitching and pay to get on playlists. If not, your only option is submitting to a bunch of free playlists that don't get no listeners, that get no traction and ain't going to get you nowhere. This idea that you're going to break your music on Spotify is bogus. People are using Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and YouTube to break their Spotify records. Their records are getting traction elsewhere, and then it's getting traction on Spotify. Just like, for example, Moray, who lives in my city, first they add him to the I Am Marshmallow playlist. Or Marshmallow's personal playlist. Not I Am Marshmallow, but Marshmallow's personal playlist. They add him number 2 on there. And then it gets traction from there. And then Spotify's algorithms pick it up. And then they start adding it to all these big playlists. Y'all have no understanding of the game. Y'all advertise and you expect the results to be far greater than the money you're spending. You're spending $20, expect the results to be the same as if a guy spent $200. Then a person spends $200, expects the results to be the same as a person who's spending $2,000. The guy spending $2,000 expects his results to be the same as the guy spending $20,000. The guy spending $20,000 expects his results to be the same as the guy spending $200,000. You have no understanding of the game. That's not how it works. And another thing is, if you're running only U.S. ads cost more than worldwide ads. And a lot of y'all get caught up in these U.S. ads only and don't understand it costs 4 to 5 times more than worldwide ads. And they engage, U.S. people engage 10 times less than other countries. If you want actual real engagement on the internet, you got to target countries like Philippines and Greece and all these other countries that have way more engagement because they engage more. Because the U.S. is a bunch of haters. Once again, you'll have no understanding of the game, no understanding of how things work, advertising, anything of that nature, of that sort. You have no understanding of playlists. You have no understanding that if you just get posted to a blog one time, you're not just going to get a ton of traffic just because. You got to actually advertise on the blogs, which means run banner ads every single day at the top of the blogs. If you're not advertising on the blogs, what are we talking about here? Just posting to the blogs is just one post. It means nothing. You gotta be constantly get posted to the blogs before it has any effects. You gotta constantly advertise on YouTube before it has any effects. This idea that you're going to advertise and in 30 days, why am I not getting a ton of likes and comments? Because you have no understanding of how anything works. All you do is make music and think you know. You have no understanding of the game. And which leads me to number 5. Because you're caught up in the numbers game. Too many artists are caught up in the numbers game because they have no understanding of how things work. When we first got into this business, everybody was selling followers and everybody was trying to buy them. And we all thought they were real at first, but nobody knew until you start realizing, oh, these ain't real. But then you got some people that knew they weren't real and they still caught up in the numbers game because they think, oh, they got 1 million followers like Nicki Minaj or Drake or whatever, that the floodgates could go open up, but they don't understand that yes, a lot of mainstream artists did buy followers when the follower game first came about because nobody knew no better. But guess what? They also had a shit ton of real ones that go along with it. If they had like 1 million followers, 20% of them bad boys were real. So that means they had about 100,000, 200,000 real followers. That's a nice amount of people. But when you just buy 1 million followers and that's all you got going on, you ain't running no ads and you ain't putting out enough content. And that's another thing. A lot of you artists don't put out enough content. And I don't mean just music content. I mean content, period. Non-music content, just content of you, just being you. Y'all don't put out enough of that content because it goes to not an understanding of the game. Once again, 60,000 songs per day. You got to put out a ton of content every day on TikTok and Instagram. On Instagram, on TikTok, on Facebook or Twitter, you should be posting 3 to 4 times a day. On YouTube, you should be posting 3 to 4 times a week. And if you're not posting 3 to 4 times a week on your YouTube, then you're not doing enough to compete. You're not putting out enough content. Especially if you're not advertising, you have no budget behind a video and no team to set up your ad to understand it. Because a lot of y'all caught up in the numbers game. How do I know? Because y'all all trying to get on Spotify playlists and just get royalties and just get numbers. Not knowing you can't build fan base on Spotify because you can't engage with fans on Spotify. They can't comment on your songs and you can't reply to comments. Yeah, they can share your music. That's about it. But unless you got a ton of fans, you ain't get a ton of reshares or some big influencer that's promoting your stuff. So caught up in the numbers game, what actually goes into no understanding the game. Number 6. Oh, actually, no. Actually, yeah, number 6 is don't stand. Y'all don't stand out. A lot of y'all don't stand out. This is the thing. If you don't stand out, if your music doesn't stand out amongst other music, 60,000 songs per day. If your song doesn't stand out amongst 60,000 songs per day, then you have to do other things to stand out. Like maybe, for example, go to South by Southwest in a diaper like the baby with a gold chain on, or look crazy like the Island Boys, or Little Pump, or Kodak Black. You got to do these. Sometimes you got to do these other things like Tech Nine. Is it just Tech Nine doesn't just stand out because he can rap and he can spit and his music is different. He's also pretty weird. He's also a weirdo. So being a weirdo can help you stand out. And if you're not a weirdo, then you better have some great music. You better have good to great music, and you better consistently and constantly put it out. You know, I mean, even a cat like Murray, who had $200,000 put behind him and got a song with over 100 million views on YouTube and a few 100,000 subscribers, his numbers are starting to fizzle out and fade down. Why do I think that is? I don't think you're putting out enough hits, and you're not putting out enough content, and you're not putting out no more hits right now. Where's your other quicksand? Yeah, you're putting out good music, but you know, I mean, to compete with these cats, hits, man, you know, hit records or massive fan base. So what are you doing to stand out? What are you doing? And the 3 main ways to stand out is make greater music than everybody, have a bigger budget and a better team and a harder work ethic than everybody, which is number 1, 2, and 3. Have a better understanding of the game as well, you know. Don't get caught up in the numbers game. I mean, all these things that make you stand out. Have a bigger budget than the next man, make better music, put out more content, have a better team, a harder work ethic. All these go into play. If you're not a weirdo, if you're just a weirdo, then you can stand out just because of that. You know, like old boy with the contact lenses. I can't think of his name right now. Hobson. You know, some people just stand out not just because they're weirdos and they make music that their fans buy into. Number 7, man. I know this is going to be like a lot of people probably going to be offended by this, but delusional. A lot of y'all are delusional, man. You're delusional. You have no budget, no team, no work ethic, no understanding the game. You caught up in the numbers game and you don't stand out. You're delusional. Some of y'all make such god-awful music The quality is so terrible, just offbeat. It's not. It's just so god awful. You're just delusional. You have no real friends around you to tell you don't quit your day job. And for the most part, most of my clients are average, good, or better than good. Every now and then, man, you get these ones, you just got a refund. And you're like, I can't do nothing with it. It's just so god awful. It's just so terrible. They're just so delusional. And talent does not dictate the music industry. But, I mean, there's a difference between me thinking somebody like Kodak Black is whack or cats like that, like 21 Savage are whack. But I've heard cats that are far worse than them that are just god awful. I mean, these cats are spending a lot of money on their videos, at least a lot of money on the recordings. They got some kind of work ethic, some understanding of the game. They got things going for them. Like Lil Pump was getting $15,000 a show before he signed to a major label. Budget, team, work ethic, understanding the game. A lot of things was going for him. Whether I like his music or not, he had a lot of things going for him. And that's why talent doesn't dictate the music industry, because if you got a good budget, you got a good team, you got a strong work ethic, you got a good understanding of the game, you're not caught up in the numbers game, and you actually stand out. I mean, you got everything going for you for all the reasons why I'm saying most artists don't make it. They don't make it because they got no budget, they got no team, no work ethic, caught up in the numbers game. They don't stand out. And they're not putting out enough content either, which is part of understanding the game, man. So, yeah, man, there's a lot that goes into this. I'm going to go ahead and share a video real quick. We'll share a video file real quick. Please bear with me. We're gonna run a couple commercials real quick from our sponsors.
Are you a musician looking for music marketing and promotion? Then look no further than Promo Palace LLC, your one-stop shop for all music promotion services. Services include Spotify playlist pitching, YouTube video promotion, record pool promotion, blog placements, radio airplay promotion, SoundCloud promotion, and much more. With over 2,000 customers and over 10 years of experience in online promotion, Promo Palace LLC is a company you can trust. For more info, please go to promopalace.biz. See you there.
That was Promo Palace LLC at promopalace.biz. Of course, I own that website and I run them blogs. Don't forget, you need online market promotions. Definitely check me out. Also, don't forget that this podcast, or not podcast, but these vlogs are sponsored by dizzlebrand.com. Do you dizzle? Yes, I dizzle. And let's run a commercial of them right now.
Me and my team, whenever we link up, they wanna we drink up. We sit down and relax and have few glasses when there's things to think about. Like I'm nice with the boss when I tend to the bars and I'm not talking drink ups. So tell the bartender that tend to the bar to please pass me a big cup up. And tell that waitress is waiting on us to put a little ice in it. Now watch the ice become weightless like the spaceships that I be sitting in. Now wait and listen, look, waiting for that tropical twist that'll take your taste buds. Now taste some. Now I insist it's the Dizzle.
Yes, that was Dizzle Brand. As you see, Do You Dizzle, Dizzle Brand. That was Chip Fu from Fu Schnickens doing the video, rapping over one of the Dipset beats. And at the end, that was Mike Dizzle. Dizzle Brand, black-owned business, a mixture of agave tequila, cognac, orange liquor, mango mix. Had a little brain freeze for a second. So, yeah, agave tequila, cognac, orange liquor, mango mix. Check them out, dizzlebrand.com. You can buy the merch, the hats, the t-shirts. You can order bottles of the Dizzle Brand liquor as well. Just go to dizzlebrand.com, all locations, check them out, And pretty much the first 3 links at the top, you can order the Dizzle bottles. We're going to run one more video before we get out of here. Of course, we got to promote my podcast, the Paul Pickett Podcast. We'll run one commercial for that as well. Paul Pickett, host of the Paul Pickett Podcast, a.k.a. Triple P, a.k.a. the Common Sense Podcast, your source for music, sports, politics, sport events, and more. Please check me out 3 to 4 days a week on my video podcast on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Rumble. And check out the audio version on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Player FM. Oh, video froze up on me a little bit, but you get the hint. Paul Pickett Podcast. Check me out. This vlog actually goes to the audio version of the Paul Pickett Podcast. The video version will go to YouTube, Facebook, Instagram TV, and Rumble as well, which is the Paul Pickett Podcast Rumble. So check us out. Follow us on Rumble as well. Then I'll take the video and I'll stream it on 3 of my Twitter accounts, which would be Twitter at Promo Palace LLC, Twitter at Paul P Podcast, and Twitter at Paul W Pickett. Also, don't forget, as I said, the audio version to go to my podcast, which is on Spotify, Apple, Amazon, Deezer, TuneIn, Stitcher, Slacker, iHeartRadio, Player FM, and much, much more. So follow us on all those platforms. Once again, I want to thank you for tuning in. Promo Palace LLC vlog 49. And this one was called The Main Reasons Why Most Musicians Won't or Don't Make It. The main reasons why most musicians won't or don't make it. And just to run down those real quick, that was number 1, budget, team, and not just a team, any team, a good team, work ethic, no understanding of the game, which means no understanding of past making music, the breaking music part, caught up in the numbers game, don't stand out, and delusional. Because if you don't have none of these things going on, you're playing delusional right now, thinking that you're going to make it with no budget, no team, no work ethic, not standing out, and you're caught up in the numbers game. It doesn't work that way. I want to thank you for tuning in. Peace, and I'm out.